welcome to lesson 1. In this lesson we are going to talk about why you may want to start journaling and also some reasons why it may not agree with you. But before moving on, here's a disclaimer. First of all, we are going to see the benefits of journaling.
You'll have surely heard people talking about the many benefits of journaling. There are many, actually. We can define two main categories: the positive effects on well being, like relaxation, regulation of emotions, and those enhancing practical skills, that is to say, the kind of skills you would add to a resume, for example, decision making and prioritization. As you can see, there's also a degree of overlapping between the two, as for example, focusing can be seen in both ways. First and foremost, writing is an effective and accessible way to release stress. You can pour your every thoughts on the page and then say, okay, it's out now. I don't have to keep it in my mind anymore. In my opinion, free writing is excellent at this. To put it shortly, you just set a timer and then scribble down everything that comes to your mind until the time is over. There are studies suggesting that writing on a regular basis can reduce the levels of stress hormones. This aside, there is not much literature on the subject, so whenever the topic of mental and physical health comes into the discussion, keep in mind the scientific evidence is still scarce. Many people report that journaling is making them feeling relaxed. But this is not necessarily true for everyone. We are all different, and while a tool can help some to unwind and have a good night's sleep, the same tool can make other people feel more nervous. To give you a simple example, let's take hot baths. They are probably the number one remedy coming to mind while talking about relax, right? Well, believe it or not, hot baths give me a horrible insomnia, and I feel so much better after a nice cold shower. So, if reflecting on your day makes you feel anxious, ashamed, or uncomfortable, just try with something else. If writing is not your thing altogether, just ditch it. That's perfectly fine as well. Writing can help to regulate our feelings and emotions. Describing a specific situation gives us the opportunity to express ourselves with total freedom, and at the same time allows us to put things into perspective. By putting some distance between us and our thoughts and actions, we can understand ourselves more clearly. No less important, journaling is a crucial tool to support memory. And this is not simply applying it to people who are suffering with cognitive impairment. Oh no. Except perhaps for a very few people, our memory is way less reliable than we like to think and is heavily affected by circumstances and by a gradual and constant rearrangement. Putting it very simple, pieces of information are saved, deleted, and modified all the time. Some popular techniques to try out, besides the already mentioned free writing, include bullet journaling, reflection, and affirmation. I will describe each of them in more detail further on. Let's move to practical skills. As mentioned, journaling is also a tool to learn to control our attention. This is, of course, useful in daily life, in most careers, for example, or in activities such as managing finances or for students. But focusing is also a key factor in meditation. Focusing on our goals and on the strategy to get there, for example, can make us feel empowered and in control. Decision making is another activity we are not innately good at, for the same reason we mentioned about memory. Analyzing a situation and making a big old list of pros and cons can be way more beneficial than just relying on our preconceived idea of good or bad decision. Journaling, especially bullet journaling and daily planning, also enhances soft skills that are highly sought by recruiters and employers. Day by day, we learn to plan our activities ahead of time and to prioritize tasks. And with this simple habit, we obtain at once better prioritization, productivity, and time management skills. Not bad, huh? Finally, traditional journaling is a good exercise of calligraphy. This may not seem as relevant as productivity or decision making, but having a clear and tidy handwriting always makes a good impression. And of course, let's not forget it makes reading your own notes much easier. Some useful techniques are the previously mentioned bullet journaling and reflection journaling, but also calligraphy and manifestation, which will require a separate explanation as it has become a bit of a buzzword.
And now let's have a look at some less exciting but more realistic aspects of this practice.
Here we are to the not so appealing aspects of journaling. There aren't many, to be honest, but for the sake of completeness, they deserve to be mentioned. I know, I am being repetitive here. Journaling is never a replacement for proper mental or physical health treatment. If you have a mental or physical condition, please, first of all, seek professional advice. That said, as we already mentioned, journaling is not always the best activity to promote relaxation. If it's not working for you or it makes you feel worse, try changing technique. For example, try bullet journaling instead of reflecting on your thoughts. Or just drop journaling and try something completely different. Similarly, writing should become a tool to open up and express ourselves. If we end up constantly ruminating or overanalyzing ourselves and our thoughts, then something is not working. A couple of words about affirmation and manifestation. Affirmation is the practice to write positive statements about ourselves so that over time we will start to believe in them. This requires a significant balance, as a constant exaggeration on looking on the bright side may actually make those sentences lose their significance. We need to introduce positivity and self belief, that's true. But sometimes we also need to recognize our negative feelings and accept them. Remember the Pixar movie Inside Out? We all have different emotions, and forceful happiness is not necessarily better than sadness. About manifestation. I'm not an expert, so I will only give a super short explanation here. Manifestation is the practice of stating what we want in order to help us making it real. This is another great tool in my opinion, but for many it has become synonymous with wishful thinking. The truth is, you cannot wish upon a star and expect your wish to come magically true. You can describe your future in great detail, but you will still have to go out there and put in some action to make it happen. And as a final note, just a short personal advice. If you like to write to get rid of your negative thoughts, I would suggest you to do it on a separate notepad or even on a random scrap of paper that you can throw away later. Read your entries if you want, but then take the page and bin it. If you're writing on a digital support, you can simply delete the entry, which is probably more environmentally friendly. But I personally find some satisfaction in crumpling up or tearing the bit of paper and physically throwing it away.
I hope this lesson gave you a bit more clarity about what to expect from journaling. I will add more resources in case you would like to delve a bit further in the subject. And for now, see you in the next lesson where we will discuss about the materials. Bye!